Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and today the devs put out a status update about the matchmaking changes that they alluded to in the Q&A last week. So we're going to check out the blog post on the forums, read it together. So once again, Peanuts, the community manager, put this together for us. Status update, matchmaking changes. We've observed a growing community concern about matchmaking in recent months. Matchmaking wait times have exceeded our targeted limits, and we've seen rank disparities fluctuate. In this status update, we'll go in details on factors impacting the matchmaking, our current matchmaking system, and our future solutions. Then we have this graph here with a three-sided triangle: time, ping, server location, and fairness, opponent and teammate skills. Above are the three variable factors in matchmaking, with a fourth being the number of players on each role, with an ideal ratio of 4 survivors for 1 killer at all times. When dealing with matchmaking, we need to decide how much to focus on each of the factors. If we focus on one point, the other points will see some sort of impact. For example, if we focus on time, your matches will likely end up being less fair, and you might get paired with people further away. Dedicated servers have helped us ensure a stable connection, with over 90% of players being put into matches with 150 ping and under. Our goal is to get you into a match as quickly as possible with a good connection without compromising too much on fairness. Now, this is something that I have experienced recently in my foray into the realm of killer. I was doing great as doctor. I was out in the yellow ranks, 13, 14 or something, and I was killing it. And then I started getting greens, which was fine. Then I started getting matched up with purples. The higher number purples were fine. But then once we got into the cusp of purple to red, 5, I started having, 3 people escaped. 3 people escaped. And then on stream the last week, I played like 2 straight hours where I was green rank 9 or 10, and I was fed red ranks for the whole night. So it became quite apparent to me that, and my matches were instantaneous. I would just hit like find a lobby, and boom, it gave me a lobby, and it wound up being red ranks. And of course, I was getting thrown in the dumpster because they're 2 colors ahead of me, and I'm a potato. So this is where it became quite apparent to me that many red rank people are waiting for games, and there aren't enough killers to support it. So something has to give. So they're throwing those teams to the green ranks, or maybe even worse, I don't know, just to fulfill the matchmaking obligation, because time has been so great that they've opened up the matchmaking. So it made me, quite sympathetic to people when I'm playing Survivor as red ranks on my my Survive with Friends squad, and I see greens. Now I have sympathy. I can empathize with those folks who are like, man, I'm going up against reds. It's like 2 colors ahead of me. Anyway, I digress. Let's continue on. Has to say, this is a difficult task in a game like Dead by Daylight, where both sides have different objectives and cannot be directly compared to one another. We've attempted to address this in the past with the emblem system, but upon further review, we've concluded that rank does not directly correlate to skill. While a player who plays a lot will tend to be better than someone who plays very little, there are also players who are good at the game but don't play enough to reach the upper ranks. So I'm probably an example of a person who's in red ranks who isn't particularly good. But I was playing against some really good shack lickers, where they have their face in the shack and they're looping me really good and exposing the elements of my game are very weak. And the greens I could handle okay, but once we started like, here's some reds, So I would say yes and no, this is true. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. That rank doesn't necessarily correlate to skill, but it can. Anyway, to help improve with the fairness factor without sacrificing wait time or ping, we'll be making 2 changes. The first is a new system to better reflect a player's skill level, and the second is a change to the matchmaking system to create fair matches. Going forward, we'll use a hidden skill rating for matchmaking purposes. Your skill rating will increase when you do well and decrease when you do poorly. To keep this as fair as possible, the system will predict the outcome of the match based on the difference in your opponent's rating and adjust the amount your rating changes. If your rating is higher than your opponent, your rating will increase less if you win and drop more if you lose. If your rating is lower than your opponent, your rating will increase more if you win and drop less if you lose. This way, even if you aren't perfectly matched with people of the exact same skill level, your rating will not change unfairly. In the future, we'd like to extend this system to support different ratings for each killer, allowing you to practice a new killer without being immediately matched against high skilled players. This may not be included in the initial launch of the feature. Additionally, to make sure that your matches are as fair as possible, we'll be switching over to batch matchmaking. Currently, our matchmaking system takes the player in queue and looks for a match close to their rank. If it is unable to find an appropriate match, it will gradually expand the search range until it's able to give you a match. This can lead to both unfair matches and long queue times. The new batch matchmaking will instead pool a larger number of players together, compare their skill levels, and then create the fairest matches possible simultaneously. With a larger pool to pick from, we hope to improve the fairness factor of matchmaking while also keeping ping and wait times low. The release of these changes will be gradual. With the release of the mid-chapter update, we are able to start tracking skill levels. For the time being, this is only a test and is not being used for matchmaking purposes. Once we're confident that the skill rating is working as intended, we'll be running tests on live servers. When this happens, you may notice some disparity in ranks during your matches. This is to be expected, as rank will no longer be used for matchmaking purposes at this time. To avoid confusion, we are considering removing ranks from the post-match scoreboard once testing is complete, as they will no longer be relevant to matchmaking. Ranks will remain visible only to you for bragging rights and a goal to work towards, but will be a reflection of your dedication to the game rather than your skill level for the time being. We are confident that these changes will allow us to create fairer matches without losing sight of our goals, to get you into a match as soon as possible with a solid connection. We'll be sure to keep you posted on our progress as we move forward. Okay, so this is implementing what many other games use, is this hidden skill level rating. They call it an MMR, which stands for matchmaking ratio or matchmaking ranking. And this is going to be something that we won't know what our scores are. There'll be some kind of an algorithm, and don't know exactly how they're going to tally it, except here it says your rating will increase if you win and drop if you lose. So I guess then we have to wonder what constitutes a win. Is it going to be the emblem system? Is it going to be escaping a survivor? A certain number of sacrifices as killer? Don't know what the criteria are going to be to constitute a win or a loss. I'm hoping that they don't give us too much information about this behind the curtain, because I am fearful that perhaps people could abuse this to derank on purpose. If you suspected that you were against someone of lesser skill to you and you gave yourself up, then you would suffer a more severe skill level decrease. So I don't know. I mean, I'm glad they're trying something else, because the matchmaking isn't working the way that it is. So I'm glad that they're trying something else and testing something else. And I can only imagine that it's going to be something like a scale. Let's say a brand new player to the game will start with a rating of 0, and whoever is the best player in the game will have a 100. And so then if the 100 player loses to the 0, the 100 is going to give up quite a bit of skill, and the 0 would gain quite a bit because they have beaten the top player. But the other scenario would be the top player wins, and they wouldn't gain very much because they're supposed to beat that person because they're brand new as a 0, and the 0 wouldn't lose anything because they're supposed to lose that match. So that's what I'm thinking how this is going to work. I'm interested to see it in practice and see how this works out. I do want to see matchmaking times lobbies times go down. I hope this helps with that. It helps spread out the actual rank. So maybe even though my particular rank will display as rank 1, my skill level and my MMR rating is going to be considerably lower. I'm not that good. Okay, I don't know what they're going to base this on. Is how many hooks you get, how long you can extend a chase. No idea. And again, I hope they don't tell us too much about it, but I hope that it works in the way they're hoping it does, because I definitely would like to see something else come in here. And then I won't have that excuse at the end when I get dumpstered, and I'll go, yeah, but they're all red ranks, and I'm a green rank 10, so I'm supposed to lose that one, right? I don't know. Anyway, this is what we've got here today. I don't know if there was something else I wanted to say about the matchmaking. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say was, I know there's going to be like a ton of conspiracy theory people out there who are going to go, oh, see, they just want to get rid of the ranks so that we can't see them, so that they can hide how bad their matchmaking system is. I don't really know what to say to that. Let's just hope that this works and everybody feels like their games are as fair as possible and that we don't have to wait very long. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of each other out there in the fog. See you next time. Bye-bye.